Okay, welcome. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Today is August 4th, 2020. Welcome to the pre-market overview. So my name is Becky. That's me there. You can email me, becky@tradewithufos.com, if you have any questions about what I cover today. Normally better to email the support team just because they're a team, so more likely to get to you quicker. So support@tradewithufos.com. We're all traders, so we can all answer any question in the team. So just to explain, for those that might be newer to this, if you've never seen the pre-market overview before, just to explain what it is that we do. So the main portion is that we're going to go through our newsletter. So the newsletter is something that we send out every single day. It comes out, every single day during the week, Monday to Friday. And what we do in that newsletter is we cover 4 of the major markets in the world. We talk about where we think they're going, how long we think they'll go in that direction for, how quickly they're likely to move, and where price is likely to turn, as well as news that may impact those markets as well. So what we do in the pre-market overview is just explain it for 15-20 minutes and expand on these concepts for those that need to understand a bit more behind what it is that's on that newsletter. So if you're not already subscribed to get the newsletter every day, you can email us newsletter@tradewithufos.com and we will put you on that subscription list. So Monday to Friday, you'll get that updated version every day. Okay, so we need to do the disclaimer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it on the screen for you guys to read, and then I'll just highlight bits as we go. It will take me way too long to read it all out, but you'll have it. Hold on, there we go. You'll have it on the screen for you to read, and I'll just sort of pick out the big points there. It's obviously mainly just saying that what we're doing is discussing things. It's to demonstrate how to use the product and how we interpret the product. It's not intended to be sort of a stock picking service or anything like that. It's not meant to be anything like that. So you can go to www.youcantrade.com for additional disclosure information. So if you didn't have time to read this, as it's on the screen there, obviously you can pause it if you need to do that. If you do want to understand more about our disclosure and more about the sort of compliance side of that, then you can go to www.youcantrade.com and get more information on there. Okay, so just a reminder, today is Tuesday, so we have stocks at 9 a.m. in the Tradictive channel, and we have investing at 1 p.m. in the Tradictive channel. These are Eastern times. So just to say as well, we have sharpening sessions over the weekends. So during the week where we do futures, options, stocks, and investing, we're obviously placing live trades because that's what's happening in the markets. Whereas over the weekend, the markets are closed. So it means that we can expand on concepts a bit more. We can explain the theory a bit more. It's a good time for you guys to bring your questions. If you need some things answered, if there's something that's not quite making sense in your head, best to bring them to the sharpening sessions. There's also a psychology sharpening session as well, which is so important. Too many people underestimate the power of psychology on our trading. So check those out, those sharpening sessions over the weekend. In terms of upcoming live courses, next one is stocks. That starts this Saturday, so August 8th until the 14th. I'll be taking that class at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. After that, we'll have a psychology course, futures, trading plans, and then this is the upcoming back testing class that we have as well. Okay, so those are on there for you guys to take a look at the dates and stuff, and then we'll crack on with the newsletter. So let's take a look. Here we are. So I'm just going to zoom in a bit for those that might be on a phone or something. Okay, so like I said, on the newsletter, we go into each of the major markets in the world. So we look at the S&P, one of the major equity indices, oil, gold, which are both major commodities, and the euro, which, when it's the euro versus the US dollar, it is the highest traded currency pair in the world. In fact, the US dollar itself is responsible for 80% of transactions worldwide every single day in the markets. So fair to say we've covered quite a lot there of what goes on out there in the markets. And even if you don't actually trade these markets specifically, I'm sure what you trade will be correlated to one or more of them. So you'll also see we're going through a daily time frame on each of these markets. Now, obviously, different things happen on different time frames. So if you trade a 2-minute time frame or a monthly time frame, anything in between, anything else, it obviously won't reflect exactly what we're saying is happening here on the daily. But the daily does fall into most people's analysis. Whether you are a long-term trader or a short-term trader, the daily time frame is often used. So that's why we do it on that one. Okay, so what we're going to go through for each market is climate, meaning basically trend, environment. What direction are we going in? Are we going up? Are we going down? And what are the probabilities associated with it? Propagated. How long can we expect it to keep going up or keep going down? Based on what's normal, based on statistics and probability. Nearest UFOs. UFO stands for unfilled orders. That's where we expect there to be a big stack of buy orders that can push price upwards, or a big stack of sell orders that can push price downwards. So for the UFOs, we use our Auto UFO app to help us find these stacks of orders on a chart and show it to us in the form of flying saucers, hence UFOs as well. So we use that for that. And for the climate and the propagating, we get the figures from our Auto Climate app, which I'll show you on the chart in a second. So we're going to each of those markets for those things as well. And for each market, I'm also going to explain volatility. Now, volatility means how far we expect price to go within given periods of time, or how fast we expect price to move. So we look at these current implied volatility column, and where we get these numbers from, so they come from the options of these markets. So especially these big markets, it's professional traders that are trading the options of these markets. Now, with options, there is a risk of assignment or exercise depending on how quick the markets move. So when the buyers and sellers of options, who are professional traders, are buying and selling and therefore setting the price of the option, inherent in that is the risk they're willing to take based on how far they think it will go. So in effect, these numbers reflect the professional consensus as to how far they think price will be moving in these given periods of time. Now, current implied volatility is actually done as a percentage. So you'll see each of these numbers are a percentage and they're also annualized. So basically, how far do we think price is going to move on that particular product, up or down, in 1 year as a percentage of its value? And then we can come and look at it on a daily, weekly, and monthly and break it down as to how far we think it's going to move in those certain periods of time. So if none of that made sense to you, don't worry, just to understand that basically this is a reflection of what professional traders think in terms of movement that is likely to happen. Okay, so we're going to go through that for each of them and then we'll move on to news. So let's get cracking. We're going to look at the S&P first. We are using SPX.X. That's the symbol that we're looking at there. Okay, so this is the SPX.X. I'm going to just expand it a little bit there, just make it easier to see. So on the bottom here, we have our Auto Climate app. The Auto Climate app shows us in one of three things, basically what's going on. It tells us what's going on in terms of the movement in the markets that we see, in the climate that we're in, the environment that we're in, or the trend that we're in. So it can show us either a thick blue dot, which is what it's showing us here. That tells us we're in a confirmed upwards climate, meaning we have an uptrend or an up climate and we have probabilities to the upside. It could be a thick red dot, which tells us that it's a confirmed downwards climate, which tells us that we're in a downwards trend or downwards climate and that we have probabilities to the downside. Or it could show us a thin dot of either color. So the color still tells us the direction, but the fact that it's thin tells us there are less probabilities on that. So it shows us that in the form of these dots. So at the moment, we are seeing on the SPX.X, on the S&P 500, we are seeing a thick blue dot, which is telling us confirmed upwards trend, confirmed upwards climate, probabilities to the upside. Now, closest stack of buy orders, what we can see on a chart, as highlighted here by our green UFO, that's 3271.12 to 3204.13. Closest stack of sell orders up here, 3373.23 to 3393.52. So again, those are where we expect there to be either buy or sell orders that can turn price if price were to get back up there or back down there. Okay, so we said that we had a confirmed upwards climate. How long can we expect that to go on for? So everything on the right-hand side here tells us what is normal or what is average in that market to go in that direction. And everything on the left here tells us where we are now relative to that. So let's just focus on this top one here, obviously, for the S&P. By the way, I'm going to round up every number. So every number there that's on the right-hand side, I'm going to round it up, whatever the decimal place is. So here we can see that the S&P would normally go up for 10 days, 10 candles in a row on a daily chart, so 10 days. And we're on candle number 3. So we have probabilities to the upside in our confirmed climate. We see that here. We also have probabilities that it's likely to continue to the upside. Again, it just tells us what's statistically likely to happen and where we are relative to that statistical probability. And as we saw, we're kind of in between UFOs at the moment. I believe we gapped up, kind of closer to the buy UFO, but kind of in between them at the moment. So that's what's going on there for the S&P. Now, in terms of movement on the S&P, the volatility that we expect, we can see that we would expect a movement up or down in the S&P in 1 year of 24.23%, which means in 1 day, we would expect movement up or down of 50.29 points. In 1 week, a movement up or down of 110.70 points. And in 1 month, a movement up or down of 230.44 points. Okay, so moving on to the next market, we're looking at oil and we're using @CL. That is the continuous futures contract for oil, so @CL. So I just need to squidge this chart quite a lot so that we can see what's going on here with our UFOs. Okay, let me unsquidge it a little bit, make those numbers a bit easier to read. Okay, so down here we have our auto climate app again. Now this is showing us a thin dot, kind of hard to see, and that's the point, showing us a thin dot. It's a blue thin dot, which means that we have an upwards climate or an upwards trend. However, it's thin, telling us that we don't really have probabilities there. So in essence, we choose really to do nothing on these days. So we have a thin blue dot, so an unconfirmed upwards climate, lower probabilities. Closest stack of buy orders down here, 26.03 to 25.52. We can see that we are nestled on top of another UFO there. So we've got two on top of the other. Closest stack of sell orders just up here, 53.55 to 55.43. And again, that's where we'd expect there to be sell orders that can push price down. We are pretty much slap bang in the middle of that, not really close to either of those big stacks of orders. And we can kind of tell that that's what's been happening because price hasn't really gone anywhere, and we've had unconfirmed climates quite often. We've had thin dots quite a lot, which isn't surprising considering we're not close to any big stacks of orders. Okay, so like we said, it was an unconfirmed climate. We can see that because we have a little cross here. So we've got an upwards pointing arrow, green upwards arrow, but there's a little cross. That little cross is telling you that it's an unconfirmed climate. So just letting you know that the probabilities are lower there. However, it is an upwards climate, so how long could we expect that to go up for? Normally, oil would go up for 7 days, 7 candles on a daily chart, and we're on candle number 1. So we have just started what is statistically likely to happen to the upside. But like we said, we do have an unconfirmed climate, so we lose a bit of probabilities there. Okay, now in terms of movement on oil, volatility, we look at OVX.X. And we can see from that we would expect a movement up or down in 1 year of 41.56%, which means a movement up or down in 1 day of 1.05 points. In 1 week, a movement up or down of 2.32 points. And in 1 month, a movement up or down of 4.82 points. Okay, so next market is at GC. We've got gold here. So at GC is the futures contract for gold, the continuous futures contract again. Now, gold's an interesting one. I'm just going to squidge it down a bit here so I can show you. So auto climate app at the bottom, once again showing us a thick blue dot. So telling us that we have a confirmed upwards climate, we have probabilities to the upside. Closest stack of buy orders is here, 1836.7 to 1825.9. However, we have no sell UFOs. We have no close stack of sell orders. We do have some sell orders on the Auto UFO app that we can see from decades ago, but that means the likelihood is that they're likely to be cancelled. So in reality, we don't really have any sell UFOs above us at the moment, which is interesting. It doesn't often happen that way. Now we can see down here, buy UFO do exactly what we expect it to do. Price came in, hit the buy UFO, hit a big stack of buy orders, and went up from there. And we've just been continuously pushing higher and higher and higher since. That's what we expect buy UFOs to do, and it's push price upwards. If it was a sell UFO, we would expect the same the other way around. Okay, so yes, we have an upwards climate. We can see that here from our upwards pointing green arrow. Normally, we would expect gold to go up for 6 candles on a daily chart, and we're on candle number 12. So we are twice as much overextended. Now, just because it's statistically likely or it's probable doesn't mean it happens all the time. Of course, there are things that happen outside of probabilities, you know, in the thousands of things that can happen in the markets. Of course, sometimes we have anomalies that fall outside of the norm. However, just bear in mind, the longer we go past what is the norm, the longer we go past what is statistical, what is probable, the less likely we are to keep doing that. If you pull an elastic band and keep pulling, it's less likely to keep allowing you to pull it and more likely to contract. The longer we go past the averages here, the more likely we are to see a change in climate. So yes, we have a confirmed upwards climate. We don't have any sell UFOs, and we've got buy UFOs underneath us. Those are all sort of signals to the upside. However, we are massively overextended, or twice as much overextended there to the upside, and so lack probability of it continuing. So just bear that in mind. You've got different forces there working. Okay, so down onto volatility in gold, we look at GVZ.X or GVZ.X. And we expect a movement up or down in 1 year of 23.56%, meaning in a day, movement up or down of 29.5 points. In a week, movement up or down of 64.9 points. And in a month, a movement up or down of 135.2 points. Okay, last market, looking at the euro US dollar. So euro versus the US dollar. So this is the spot forex of the euro. Okay, so we can see here, oh, it's beautiful. It's showing us exactly what we want to see. So down here, we've got our auto climate up. Again, a thick blue dot telling us that we have probabilities to the upside, a confirmed upwards climb. Now, we can see here we have loads of stacks of buy UFOs just on top of each other, one after the other after the other. And multiple of them have already worked. We've seen this. Price came in, went up, came in, went up, created a new UFO, came in, went up, came in, went up, created a new UFO, and so on, continuing to push price upwards. Again, that's what we expect buy UFOs to do, is push price to the upside. We've seen that happen. And then up here, we expect sell UFOs to push price downwards. And again, that's what's happened. Price came in, hit the sell UFO, and has gone down since then. Now, the degree at which we see these reactions obviously changes, but that they are doing what we expect them to do. So the closest stack of buy orders we have here at 1.1597 to 1.1507. Just rounded that where it needs to be. Closest stack of sell orders, obviously just here. 1.1914 to 1.1998. Again, just rounded that where it needs to be. Okay, so in terms of, like we were talking about probabilities, how it doesn't always go that way, we can really see that here with the euro US dollar. We can see that normally the euro US dollar would go up for 4 candles on a daily chart, and we're on candle number 22. So we are over 5 times overextended to the upside as to what is normal or what is statistically likely to happen. We've gone way past that. Not surprising, we've had all these UFOs come in, these buy UFOs come in and push price up. It's not surprising that we've gone past what is usual here. But again, just bear in mind, we have just hit that sell UFO. We are very much overextended. So kind of signs there that we might be coming to the end of this uptrend, to the end of this upwards climate. However, we do also have many buy UFOs beneath us and a confirmed upwards climate. So we've kind of got 2 equal and opposite forces going off against each other at the moment on the euro. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the coming days. So in terms of volatility, we are using EVZ.X, and we would expect a movement on the euro up or down in 1 year of 8.59%, meaning a movement up or down in 1 day of 64 pips, up or down in 1 week of 140 pips, and up or down in 1 month of 229 pips. Okay, so that's all the market's done. Let's come down and have a look at news that could impact us, or reports that could impact the market. So we get this from fxstreet.com/economic-calendar, and we filter by high impact news and by US markets. So if you trade outside of those parameters, you can go to that link, play about with the filters, and see what fits your trade plan a bit better. Now you'll see here, we have news on the left-hand side. We have the time that it's coming out, always in Eastern time. That's how we show it here, as Eastern time. If the news does come out, or if the report does come out, it will usually show here in the actual column, which is why we can see from yesterday, from Monday, we have some data here, but we have nothing for Wednesday and Friday because they haven't happened yet. So we don't know what the figures are. So obviously Monday's already happened, but we can see that the next high impact news on US markets will be tomorrow. So nothing to really look at for today. Now, bear in mind, news is an indirect force in the markets, meaning the most direct force that can move price up or down are either buy orders or sell orders. That's it. It's buying and selling. That's what moves price up or down. Now, there can be many reasons why there are buy and sell orders. And of course, news is a big reason. So it's a influential force, definitely. It has a place, but it is indirect in the sense of it's not pure buy and sell orders. So just bear that in mind when it comes to your analysis, and just use it in your trade plan, however makes the most sense to you. Okay, so a couple of reminders. If you're not already part of the fun, where we go through futures, options, stocks and investing, sharpening sessions, psychology sessions, the support that we have as well, then you can join us at tradictive.com/you-can-trade. There is a free 14-day access So you can try us out for a couple of weeks, see if it makes sense first before you do anything from there, and have 14 days to check us out. Next upcoming course, the live course that we're doing there is the stocks course, where we go through the methodology, we go through applying it to stocks, and we show you how to do it in action. Go to tradewithufos.com/stocks live to understand more about what we cover there and what's on there. We do have an offer at the moment. Register for any course and choose an additional course for free. So whatever the second one is, need to be of equal or lesser value than the first one you pick. So go to the website and have a look at the different courses as to what's more relevant to you and how you can make the best of that deal so that you get the best out of it. If you have questions about anything, you can email us support@tradective.com. Otherwise, today being Tuesday, we'll see you guys within the Tradective channel at 9 a.m. for stocks and 1 p.m. for investing. I think I've got that round the right way. And we'll see you at 4:15 p.m. again Eastern. My colleague Wayne will be looking at what did happen in the markets, what can we learn from it, what went as expected, what didn't go as expected, and sort of reflect on the day as well. So we'll see you in those, and I'll be back tomorrow morning. So I'll see you then. Have a good Tuesday, guys.